Chiefs 23, New York Jets 20. The Kansas City Chiefs survived Zach Wilson and the New York Jets. Boy, I did not see this game coming. Who would have thought that Zach Wilson, the dude who got crushed by Jets legend Joe Namath, got crushed all week by the national media, had the best game of his NFL career? You probably could say that he outplayed Patrick Mahomes for some duration of this game. Like, Zach Wilson balled out in this game. 28-39, he threw for 245 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. This was Zach Wilson's coming out party. At least you would have thought. Until late in this game when he fumbled the football. And the fumble ultimately was the possession where the Kansas City Chiefs sealed the victory. And there was a lot of madness that ensued in this game, especially on the final possession when Kansas City had the ball. I mean, they get the ball back, and then Patrick Mahomes is looking like Houdini back there. Then you get a couple of penalties that get called on Kansas City. But no matter what, Patrick Mahomes, one thing that I love about Patrick Mahomes so much is that no matter what obstacle gets thrown at him, he just keeps coming. And he had an awful game. This is probably one of the worst games that I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes play. But one thing about it is that when the game is in the essence and the Kansas City Chiefs need Patrick Mahomes to step up and make a big play, he comes through every single time. It's like the New York Jets defense pulled out all the stops in this game. All the stops. Like, this is probably one of the best defensive performances that you will ever see against this Kansas City Chiefs offense. I mean, they pretty much shut down Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce didn't really do much in this game. He got his number called a couple of times late, but that was about it. The New York Jets, they were getting after Patrick Mahomes. I mean, this was a very good performance out of the Jets defense. But at the end of the day, their offense still put them in a compromising situation. And then when you look at the penalty that got called on one of the players in their secondary, Robert Saleh was upset. It was a holding call, and that pretty much put Kansas City in position to seal the game. It's like Patrick Mahomes, he just always keeps coming. You know, anytime you think about doubting him and counting him out, he just keeps coming through, making play after play after play. I mean, no matter what, it's like 3rd and long. He's still sitting back there in the pocket all day to throw, stepping up, making guys miss, running, utilizing his legs. Like, anything that you need Patrick Mahomes to do, he can do. It's just so hard to stop Patrick Mahomes when the game is on the line. Zach Wilson, he had the opportunity to win this game for the New York Jets, and he couldn't come through. And this is the ultimate reason why the New York Jets are in the position that they're in. And it makes you miss Aaron Rodgers even more. And if you're a Jets fan, you gotta really be missing Aaron. Because in a game like this is the game that Aaron Rodgers would have won for you. It was late. You know, Zach Wilson fumbled. If that was Aaron Rodgers, he probably puts you in position to score and win the game. It was so much riding on Aaron Rodgers. And you know, this game was just so poetic. And I think it does a great job of painting the image that is going to be the New York Jets this year without Aaron Rodgers. You know, every game is going to be a dogfight. Everything is going to be a knockout, drag-out brawl. And it's going to be difficult for them to win a lot of games against some of the top teams in the NFL because they don't have Aaron Rodgers. The AFC is full of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You got Mahomes, Lamar, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow. The list just goes on and on and on. And just look at your division. You got to play Tua, Josh Allen. It's like, unless you got an Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, you kind of have to have a completely flawless team to be able to make up for not having an elite quarterback like a Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers. Zach Wilson is like, this dude played his best game. He played his tail off, and he still couldn't come through for the New York Jets. It's like Zach Wilson is going to have to play like this in every single game for the Jets to have a chance. And that's why New York fans are probably missing Aaron Rodgers a lot after how this game played out. You know, like Aaron Rodgers, he's the ultimate closer. It's like you put the ball in his hands, he comes through. There's not too many times that Aaron Rodgers gets stopped. The Kansas City Chiefs, they were on the ropes in this game, man. Like, this was a 10-round fight, and the New York Jets took them all the way into the decision. And at the end of the day, when the New York Jets had to make big plays late, they couldn't execute. You know, Zach Wilson fumbling the football, the holding call on the defense. You know, this is just going to be another one of those games that Jets fans are going to look at and they're going to say, damn, if only we had Aaron. You know, like, if you don't have a great quarterback, you're not going to have a chance at being able to win too many games with how tough the AFC is this year. Now, if the Jets win the NFC, I think they could be a playoff team. The NFC doesn't have a lot of great teams or a lot of great quarterbacks. You know, so the Jets will be way better in the NFC than they are in the AFC, but you still have to somewhat be able to score points. And the New York Jets is just, you kind of got to cross your fingers if you're a Jets fan watching this offense play. You know, you kind of were lucky to get the 20 points. You don't know how many performances from this point forward you're going to get out of your offense that are going to replicate what you got tonight. Hell, them getting 20, they may not get the 17 for another 3 to 4 weeks. Zach Wilson, he did have this team in position to make it to the playoffs last season. But, you know, like in this game, like last season, he put the New York Jets in a situation where they were out of the playoffs. And he put the Jets in a situation tonight where they were out of this game and they eventually lost. You know, it's like, it seems like any game the Jets play in, it's going to be, they gave it their all, but it just wasn't enough. It's going to be like the little engine who could. Robert Saleh is a really good coach. And I really hope that he gets at least one more year, because this season is just catastrophic. When you don't have the quarterback situation figured out, it's just so difficult to win against some of the top teams in the league, especially when you got Patrick Mahomes. Like, Mahomes just keeps coming and coming and coming. He's a machine. It's like Jets fans at one point, I know they probably knew Mahomes was eventually going to come through and win this game. And that just has to be so demoralizing. And that's why Aaron Rodgers was, you know, given so much attention this offseason of Hard Knocks. And even then, he was still at the game. You could still feel his presence. But just with him not being on the field, the Jets, they really miss him. The Kansas City Chiefs, this wasn't a pretty performance. You know, but at the end of the day, championship teams find ways to win, despite the odds. And that dude, Patrick Mahomes, like, if you didn't realize what makes this dude special, you had to see it tonight. He didn't play his best games, but the GOATs or some of the greats, it's not about how they start. It's about how they finish. When the lights are the brightest and when the cameras are on and your team needs you to make a big play to win the game, can you come through? Yes or no? Patrick Mahomes comes through 95% of the time. He did this against one of the best defenses in the NFL. Like, Mahomes is a boss, man. I just don't know how you can stop this man. I see why the Kansas City Chiefs are just so dominant. They're just a juggernaut. I mean, you talk about ripping the soul out of Jets fans. I mean, this game was a roller coaster of emotions. At one point, the Chiefs were up 17-0. You thought that they were about to put 70 on New York. And then out of nowhere, the Jets, they start moving the ball on offense. Zach Wilson is making some big throws, some nice plays. He's getting outside the pocket. He's picking up yards with his legs. He's looking like the dude that they envisioned when they first drafted him years ago. It's just so crazy that the Jets played their best game. They gave it their all, and it still wasn't enough. You want to know why? Because the Chiefs had Mahomes. And you can say, oh, it's the refs. And at the end of the day, no matter what happens with the penalties that get called, you got to play ball, man. Like, you got to overcome that. The Chiefs had penalties called on them, and they were still able to overcome it. You see, the New York Jets, man, it's going to be tough watching this team play. Because, like I said earlier, they're going to be like the little engine that could. They're going to come close, but no cigar. It's going to be like that one insurance commercial when the dude got like the little dollar bill on the fishing hooks, and you're like, oh, you got to be quicker than that. Oh, you got to be quicker than that. It's like the New York Jets, man. They just got to be better than that. They just weren't able to execute in the fourth quarter. Regardless of the penalties, if Zach Wilson never fumbles that ball, the New York Jets, their defense isn't on the field in that situation, and the holding call doesn't get called. You want to know why? Because they're on the sidelines. But nobody wants to talk about that. It's easy to get mad at the referees and make excuses and say, oh, it's rigged, it's scripted, they just wanted the Chiefs to win. Man, the NFL needs the New York Jets to be good. Well, I'm not going to say they need the Jets to be good, but the New York Jets being good is great for ratings. It's great for viewership. Nobody is plotting against the Jets. Nobody is rooting for the Jets to be awful, unless you're just a fan of the division. So, the Chiefs walk away with the win, 23-20. Let me know how you guys feel about this game down in the comment section down below.